Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're talking about the spell Rime's Binding Ice.
I'm frozen because it's the Binding Ice. This, I think, is critically underrated and not talked about enough. I love this spell. I think the spell is actually pretty baller. So this is a second level wizard sorcerer spell, which is probably why it's not talked about that much, because those two have an amazing spell list. This is, it's a cast type of an action, range of self, a 30-foot cone from you. Duration instantaneous. It's somatic and material components requiring a vial of melt water, which was water that was once ice that has since melted, I think, canonically. Maybe there's some magical properties to that. I don't really care. Burst of cold energy.
All water.
Right? Like, somewhere, sometime, most water was multiple different states. It was gas most of the time. It was ice a lot of the time. It was water most, I don't know. A burst of cold energy emanates from you in a 30-foot cone. Each creature in the area must make a Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, a creature takes 3d8 cold damage and is hindered by ice formations for a minute, or until another creature within reach of it uses an action to break the ice away. A creature hindered by ice has its speed reduced to 0. On a successful save, a creature takes half as much damage and isn't hindered by ice. At higher levels, when you upcast as a bonus d8 damage, don't upcast this. This is really cool. This is a giant AoE damaging effect. This is a second level Burning Hands-esque thing that hits a better area for lower damage than an upcast Burning Hands. And on a failed con save, functionally roots the creature. And that creature can't remove the binds unless someone else is there to do it. It is debilitating for some monsters. If a solo melee creature gets hit by this thing, this encounter's over. They're just dead. And that leaves this to be a pretty fun, powerful tool that's flexible and usable in many circumstances. Like, if you're a sorcerer and don't have a long list of spells but want something powerful to do in combat, this is going to be great at almost every tier of the game.
I had to recheck the rules. They don't, after the initial saving throw, they don't get to make another one.
Nope.
So, wow, that's better than I thought it was.
I'm sorry. I did speed through it. It does say until it or another creature within reach uses an action to break it away. So it can break itself out. I just skipped over the or it part, and that's a very important 2 words.
All right. So it does. So all it has to do is eat an action, and it can get out.
Yes, which notably, this is still debilitating against those monsters, and still often will be a death sentence against the solo creatures that have to spend an action not hitting you, not dashing, but instead breaking free of this ice after already having taken 3d8 damage.
Yeah, I mean, the minute duration doesn't seem as cool now.
All of a sudden that minute duration doesn't matter at all.
No,
not even a little bit. The words literally say it either makes range attacks or breaks free, and that's fine. This could have a duration of 15 years, and it would still just take the action to get out, and the duration does not matter all that much.
All right. Well, I went from thinking it was cooler to now thinking it was less cool. I'm hovering, but it's still pretty cool.
Yeah, I think this is, if you want like a damaging area of effect early on, why not this? If you're especially in the second level spell department, you got like Flaming Sphere, you got Scorching Ray. Rime's Binding Ice does great damage in a great area with a great condition. That outdoes all of those spells we've mentioned prior. So like,
man, for a second level spell, I feel like the damage is gravy. I'm in this for the condition.
But if this hits 3 things that all are melee range, it still kind of requires you to put yourself in a bit of danger, right? Like, you have to move to a spot where you can engage things within the 30-foot cone. But if it lands on them, you have time to back out and get away safely. So you can kind of have the risk-reward play pattern being based around if things pass the con save, which is pretty cool. It also, it allows for a lot of dynamic positioning that I'm really into. I don't know. I think there's a lot of interesting things to think about whenever you're casting a Rime's Binding Ice, and I love it for that reason.
Yeah. And like I said, it does do as much damage as an upcast Burning Hands, but it does fine damage. I will agree with you. This is not something you ever want to upcast. Like I said, I'm in it for the condition. The damage, I'm happy exists, but I don't need more for a higher level cast.
Yeah, this is never going to be a Cone of Cold, and for that reason, like, by that I mean it's never going to hit the damage of a Cone of Cold. So, like, once you have Fireball, yeah, you're not doing this if you have Fireball instead. Sometimes you'll have to do both, but like, you're never replacing a Fireball with a Rime's Binding Ice for that much less damage. And that's where it's like, okay, yeah, we're still in a second level spell territory. But like this definitely does push the ceiling and average of those second level spells up by a little bit. And it makes me a lot more excited to build a sorcerer wizard, knowing that I don't have to take the same 3 evocation spells to get me through the early game, and then like actually start getting, you get the one banger at 3rd level, but then you start doing wackier and wilder magical stuff as the tiers go on. I like that this is another new, fresh, damaging option. I'm a big fan of his Ben's Treachery Dragons. It gave us this kind of gem. It's good
Anything
stuff.
that does damage and has a secondary effect it's nice.
Yeah,
Um,
DMs don't even have to like get debilitated by this because the ranged creatures can still be like, yeah, it's fine. I'll just keep shooting you with the torpedo. That's fine by me. You've got creatures with spells that go, okay, I wasn't going to move anyway, and they get you firing off spells. Then there's gonna be the ogre that's gonna be like, I have to spend my whole turn doing this. This actually is the worst thing ever. And if it hits 2 ogres, they're like, well, there goes all the encounter balance. 2 turns wasted, plus 3d8 cold damage, plus the whole party's just laying into it without having to waste any of their actions. That's huge game.
Yeah.
I will say, tactically, you're definitely going to want to communicate with your party. This is a really great engagement tool. If your barbarian and paladin are already engaged with the things that you Rime's Binding Ice, this has no meaningful text beyond 3d8 damage, but still, 3d8 damage is reasonable. There will be a lot of fights I can envision where you don't have Scorching Ray on your sheet, or you don't necessarily, or you want to like maybe root one thing that hasn't finished engaging yet. You will cast this over a Scorching Ray or a Burning Hands in that instance to be like, the 2 things already engaged. I don't really care if they get rooted, but it's still good damage, and I might root the one thing, and that's pretty reasonable upside for a very small dip in damage. The area's a lot better too, right? Like, this is going to hit more things than Burning Hands ever could. That's great.
30-foot cone. What's Burning Hands?
15-foot cone.
Well, yeah.
Well over double the area.
Right. Yeah. Do you remember? We already did 2nd level wizard spells. Did either one of us pick this?
Probably not.
No.
I feel like one of us probably should have. I
Yes.
remember, the only thing I remember about 2nd level wizard spells, because the comments lit me up like I've yet to be lit up in the same way. Be like, Web is great. You're just a loser. You're an idiot, Sam. You have no idea what you're talking about. I'm like, listen, you're all right. Web is great. I haven't read this spell in forever. There was one person that was like, oh my god, Sam just doesn't get us boomers. And I'm like, you're right, I don't, but that's okay. So like, that's what I remember about the 2nd level wizard video. I would put this on my top 5 2nd level wizard spells doing it again. I absolutely think it is up there, top of the list, as far as like, if you want a damaging 2nd level wizard option, this is it.
Yeah. I will agree with that. Any fun tactical things you want to do with this, or like
It roots.
combos? I don't know. Huh?
It roots things. So,
Yeah.
any benefits to things not moving seems good. I like that. Normally, I'm not a huge fan of spells that are conditions tied to damage, but there isn't anything at 2nd level that really does this condition out in these classes specifically, right? And for that reason, I'm like, yeah, sign me up. I like that it eats actions. I like that it. Again, there will be some encounters where you'll run into the situation where there'll be like 4 little goons and one big thing, and the big thing gets to take its action, so because little goons can break it free. So if it doesn't kill the goons, which a lot of times 3d damage will, then maybe they're out of range or something. The DM has some release valves to let there still be big scary monsters. This isn't like the world's greatest condition, but it's attached to great damage in a huge area. And so like beyond tactical uses of it.
It feels like you're going to object, but and I'm not saying exactly, but it kind of feels like a cheaper version of either, like a hold person or a banishment.
I'm taking this over hold person most of the time. I hate whenever my saber dice fail, and this hitting a giant area and doing damage and doing a good enough impression of not like the die portion of hold person, right? Like, this isn't paralysis by any stretch, but if you care about them not moving, this does that to a way better area, right? And like con saves, there will be people that are like, oh, the saves aren't all made equally. Listen, they're all about the same. As far as like, I'm convinced of that.
We're gonna get comments now.
Oh yeah, that was the whole point of that bit, was now comments gonna be like, specifically Prince Phantom's gonna be like, Samuel. But like, con save is fine. The giant root is fine. If you don't care about the paralysis, this is a lot better than hold person, right? If your objective is to say, we're leaving, everything stop, this stops everything, not just one thing. And also, like, it's size and type agnostic. This hits every creature in the area. It's each creature in the area. Not doesn't care if it's gargantuan, doesn't care if it's an ooze. It will be rooted by the binding ice. It will take at least one action to get out. I'm all for all of that.
That's a pretty big one.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's that. You got a rating for this one?
I think it's a 4. I don't think it's breaking the table in half, but my god, is it a good second level damage spell? Definitely is one of the top ones I'm taking on my sorcerer and wizards from here on out. I think the spell is excellent.
Yeah, I'm not going to give it a 5. It is really good though.
It's very,
4
very
sounds
solid.
about right.
Okay. This is the sweet spot. Wizards design more spells in exactly this sweet spot. This is where I want them.
Agreed. All right, well, that was Rime's Binding Ice. Thank you, Sam, and thank you, everyone, for joining us. Let us know what you think down in the comments, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it. A gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.